Hi, I'm Rob Fontenot. I'm the lead instructor for Coastal Truck Driving School. I'll be demonstrating the Class A pre-trip inspection today. So here we go. At first, you'll walk up to the truck. You'll point up to the lights on top that you cannot reach. They're mounted secure, clean, amber in color. Anything that you can reach or touch, you have to touch. Otherwise, you can point to them. Then we'll look up underneath the truck, make sure there's no leaks. The truck's not leaning to the right or to the left. We'll walk up to the light. This headlight is mounted secure, clean, clear in color. The turn signal reflector on this side is mounted secure, clean, amber in color. We have a hood mirror here. The hood mirror is mounted secure. The lens is clean and it's not broken. It's mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or missing. And then we're going to open up the hood. There's a latch on either side. And then we'll walk around to this side here. Now everything with air or liquid in it, we got to check for leaks. So on this side, we're going to pick 3 general hoses, 1, 2, and 3. They're mounted secure, they're not cracked, broken, and not leaking. Then we'll drop down to the alternator. The alternator is mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, or missing any parts. The wires are tight and secure. There's no exposed wires or tapes. It's a belt-driven alternator. The belt is right here. The belt is not torn or frayed, and there's no more than 3/4 of an inch of play in it. Then we'll move down here to the turbo. The turbo is mounted secure. It's not cracked, broken, or leaking any soot. And this is a Cummins engine. We'll follow the lower radiator hose to a water pump. The water pump is mounted secure. It's not cracked, broken, or leaking. And this water pump is also belt driven. The belt's not torn or frayed, and it's also no more than 3/4 inch of play. Now we're going to follow the exhaust pipe that's coming out the back of the turbo back here to the exhaust system. Down here we have the muffler, the exhaust. It's mounted secure. It's not cracked, broken, or leaking. And there's also some mounts. The mounts are mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or missing any parts. And now we're going to go to the driver's side. All right, over here we're going to pick out some general hoses. You got these general hoses, and you got these here. They're mounted secure. They're not cracked, broken, or leaking. The oil dipstick, you'd pull it out, wipe it off, put it back in, make sure it's between the min and max, and it's no metal shavings. Up here you have your coolant reservoirs between the min and max. It's mounted secure and not leaking. Power steering reservoir is between the min and max. It's mounted secure. It's not cracked, broken. It's not leaking. Power steering pump is mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or leaking, and it's gear driven. Air compressor is mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or leaking, and it's gear driven. You have 3 hoses with your power steering. 1, 2, 3. They're mounted secure, they're not cracked, broken, and they're not leaking. Right here you have your steering gearbox. It's mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, and it's not leaking. Right here you have your pitman arm, drag link, steering knuckle. It's mounted secure, they're not cracked, broken, or bent. Secure with the castle nut and cotter key here, and then you have a bushing here and here, which is mounted secure, not leaking, and properly greased. And then we move on to our suspension. You have a front spring mount, which you can touch with your hand, and you would point to the spring mount back there. Those are mounted secure, they're not cracked, broken, or missing any parts. Here you have a leaf spring. The leaf spring is mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, or shifted. Here you have U-bolts. The U-bolts are mounted secure, they're not cracked, broken, and if you look up underneath, they're not missing any nuts. And then you have a shock. The shock is mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, and it's not leaking. You have an air hose going to your brake chamber. It's mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, or leaking. Here you have a brake chamber. It's mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, dented, or leaking. It's secure with the band, the nut, and bolt. Here you have a push rod and a slack adjuster. They're mounted secure, they're not cracked, broken, or bent. They secure with the pin and the cotter key. And with the brakes released, I shouldn't be able to pull more than an inch. If you pull more than an inch, it would be out of adjustment. Then you would look down inside. Inside of here, you have the brake drum. The brake drum should have no holes in it, no dents, no dirt, oil, or grease, and the brake shoes are not dangerously worn thin or less than 1/4 of an inch. Then you move up to your tire. The tire is not unevenly worn. It has a minimum tread depth of 4/32 on the steer tire here, and the sidewalls and the top is no abrasions, bubbles, or cuts. The rim is seated to the tire. It's mounted secure. It's not cracked, broken, or welded. All your lug nuts are present. None are missing. There's no shiny threads or rust trails or walled out holes to indicate looseness. This is your hub seal. The hub seal is mounted secure and not leaking. With a clear sight glass, you'd be able to see the level of the oil. And if you had to add, you could pop this cap off and add the oil there. And then you have a valve stem. It should be capped, mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or leaking. And with a pressure gauge, I would check the manufacturer's specs. Now that we finish up under here, we will go ahead and close the hood down for safety and then move on. All right, you have to check all the lights. This light would be mounted secure, clean, amber in color. You got your mirror here. The mirror is mounted secure, it's not cracked or broken. The mirror is clean and not cracked or broken. The door, there's no holes in it. The door can open and close. The hinges are mounted secure. They're not cracked, broken, or missing any parts. And you have your weather seal, weather strip. It's mounted secure. It's not cracked, broken, torn, or frayed. And while you're here, we can open up our side box. We got to get into that in just a minute. Then you go to your steps. Your steps are mounted secure. It's not cracked, broken, and there's no foreign debris. And they should be able to hold the weight of the driver. And we come back here, we'll find our emergency equipment. We have our fire extinguisher. It should be fully charged, mounted and secure so it doesn't roll around in the cab. And then you should have 3 reflective triangles, and also in the glove box you should have spare fuses. All right, back here we have the fuel tank. The fuel tank has a strap here and it has another one up there. The straps are mounted secure, not cracked or broken, and they have a rubber seal below the metal strap. And the fuel tank's mounted secure, not cracked, broken, and if you look underneath, it's not leaking. And it also has a cap. If you remove the cap, it should have a rubber seal inside. The cap's mounted secure and it's also not leaking as well. And then while we're here, we're going to go on to our air lines. Our air lines are connected to the truck. They're mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, or leaking here. The electric line is plugged in, it's mounted secure, not cracked or broken. The air lines themselves are mounted secure, not cracked, broken, they're not leaking, they're not kinked. Both the red and the blue. The electric line is mounted secure, it's not cracked or broken, no exposed wires, and there's no tape. You have the glad hands. The glad hands is where the air lines are connected to the trailer. They're mounted secure, they're not cracked or broken or leaking. Inside of them, you should have a rubber grommet, and that keeps it from leaking. And also you have the electric line is connected to the trailer. It's mounted secure and it's not cracked or broken, no exposed wires. Over here you have the catwalk. It's mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, or missing. There's no foreign debris. And here you have a cross member and you have the frame. The frame goes front to back. And the cross member, they're mounted secure, not cracked or broken or missing, and there's no illegal welds. Down here you have a drive shaft. The drive shaft is mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, or twisted. There's some U-joints up there and under here. The U-joints have no foreign debris, they're properly greased, and they're mounted and secure. And while we're here, this is our header board. Our header board is mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, or missing any rivets. It's able to hold the weight of the load. Here you have a reflector. It's mounted secure, clean, and amber in color. Up top you have two marker lights. They're mounted secure, clean, and both of them are amber in color. And also, while we're right here, these are brake hoses. Yeah, brake hoses. They're mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or leaking. Down there, I don't know if you can see it, it's mounted, it's the brake chamber. It's mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, missing, and there's two bands on it. They're tight and secure. And on the back side of your brake chamber is a push rod and slack adjusters. They're mounted secure, they're not cracked, broken, or bent. They're secure at the pin and cotter key. With the brakes released, you shouldn't be able to pull more than 1 inch. And also inside your tires, you have brake drums. No holes, no dirt, oils, or grease. The drums, the brake shoes are not dangerously worn thin or less than 1/4 inch. And then you come back up. Right here, the spring mount right here is mounted secure. It's not cracked, broken, or missing. And then down here you have leaf springs. They're mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or shifted. And then you have U-bolts. They're mounted secure. They're not cracked, broken, or missing. And they got the nuts secure underneath. Then we'll move out. Inside the tire, right here, is the bud space. The rims are budded together, the tires are not touching, and there's no foreign debris. All right, now these tires, both of them, neither one are mixed matched. They're even. They're both 2/32. There's no abrasions, bubbles, or cuts across the tops and on the sides. The rim should be seated to the tire, mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or welded. You have lug nuts underneath. The lug nuts, none are missing, no shiny threads or rust trails to indicate looseness. Your axle seal is mounted secure, not cracked, broken, it's not leaking. You have a valve stem. It's mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or leaking. It should be capped, and if you had a pressure gauge, you would check the manufacturer's specs. Right under here, you have a curlicue hose. That's your actuator hose to adjust your sliding fifth wheel. You make sure it's mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or leaking. Up here, you have the apron. The apron is mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, or dented, and there's no gap between the apron and the top of the fifth wheel. The top of the fifth wheel should be properly greased. And then you have a pivot pin that's mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, or missing. You have a release handle. It's in the lock position, it's mounted secure, it's not cracked or broken. This is a sliding fifth wheel, so on the inside of here, you have locking pins in the locking position. This is all your platform. The platform is mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, or missing. And it's got the mounting bolts, mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or missing. Here you have a spring mount and your bell housing. Airbag mount and bell housing. They're mounted secure, they're not cracked, broken, or missing. The airbag's properly inflated, there's no abrasions, bubbles, or cuts, and it's mounted secure. And behind here is a shock. The shock should be mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or leaking. Then while we're here, we get this light that's mounted secure, clean, amber in color, and you have DOT reflective tapes, red and white, all the way down the trailer. And then we move here, we have a mud flap. This mud flap should be mounted secure, not torn or frayed, and it's not touching the ground. You have red reflective tape, red and white reflective tape here. And then you should have enough clearance between the mud flap and your landing gear. Your landing gear should be fully raised, mounted secure, it's not cracked or broken or missing any parts, and the handle should be in the cradle. Here you have tail lights, mounted secure, clean, red in color. You should have a reflector here and here. They're mounted secure, not cracked, broken, they're clean, and they should be red in color. And if you look up inside here, you'll see the kingpin, and the locking jaw is locked around the shank of the kingpin. And also, right up in here is a torque arm. It's mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, or missing. And on the bottom of your trailer, you have cross members. They're mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or missing. The floor of the trailer should have no soft spots. It's mounted secure, not cracked or broken. Now we'll continue towards the back. All right. All right, we have a brake chamber. This mounted secure. It's not cracked, broken, or missing, or leaking, or dented, and it's also got the bands tight and secure with the nuts and bolts. Behind the brake chamber is a push rod and slack adjuster. They're mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or bent, secure at the pin and cotter key with the brakes released. Shouldn't have no more than 1 inch of play. The brake hoses are mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or leaking. Inside the rim, you have the brake drum. There's no holes in it, no dirt, oil, or grease, and it's not dented or cracked. And there should be at least a 1/4 inch of pad left. And then you have here, you have your front spring mount, and then you have the rear spring mount. The front spring mount and the rear spring mount are mounted secure. They're not cracked, broken, or missing. Here's the tandem release arm. It's in locked position and it's mounted secure. The tandem release pins are in the locked positions and they're mounted secure and not missing. This is the torque arm. It's mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or missing. And then you have the leaf springs mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or shifted. And you have U-bolts mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or missing any nuts. You have the bud space. The rims are touching, the tires are not, and there's no foreign debris. The rims should not be mismatched. The tires should not be mismatched, not unevenly worn, minimum of 2 30-seconds. No abrasions, bubbles, or cuts along the top and the side walls. The rim should be seated to the tire, mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or welded. The lug nuts, none are missing, no shiny threads or rust trails or wallowed out holes. The hub seal has a sight glass. You should be able to see the oil to the proper level, and it's mounted secure, not leaking. The valve stem should be capped, mounted secure, not leaking. And with a pressure gauge, you would be able to check the manufacturer's specs. And as we walk to the back, right here we have a door tie. This door tie is mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or missing. You have a mud flap. Mud flap is mounted secure. It's not cracked, broken, or torn. It's not rubbing the ground. You have a reflector here. It's mounted secure, clean, red in color. And you have a light that's mounted secure, clean, red in color. Now your lights towards the front is always amber, and to the back is red. Unless you had an ABS light, then it would be amber and it would be right here. But this trailer does not have ABS. All right, we have the door. The doors, the hinges are mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or missing. The doors have no holes in it. They're not bent. The door handles are secure in place. And they're mounted secure, they're not cracked, broken, or missing. The lights all along the back are mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or missing. They're red in color and they're clean. And you have DOT reflective tape, white and red in color, along the back of the door. Now, at this point, you would get your examiner or your instructor to go to stay back here, and you'd go in the truck and turn your lights on. Now that we would check that the lights work on the trailer and the tractor. We would want to see that the tail lights and marker lights work on the trailer and on the tractor. We want to check that the left turn signal works on the trailer and the tractor. The right turn signal works on the trailer and on the tractor. The four-ways work on the trailer and the tractor. The brake lights work on the trailer and the tractor. And then have them walk up the side, checking that all your marker lights on the side are working. Now you'd also check that your left turn signal works on the midway of the trailer, the four ways, and you'd also check it on the other side as well. Then you'd move up towards the front and have them, check that this light works and the marker lights up top work. And you would move up here, we'll make sure that this light works. Now this is also a turning signal and it operates when you're four ways, so you want to check all functions. And you walk up to the front and you want to make sure all those lights that we checked for condition earlier, that they're functioning and they're working. And then you move down to your headlights, your high beams, your left turn signal, right turn signal, and four ways. And any lights that we didn't check the function of on the other side, you would check, and then we would go inside the truck and do an in-cab. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do a safe start. That way the air is building up while we're doing everything else. So you want to make sure it's in neutral, your brakes are applied, you're pushing the clutch, turn the key, your ABS light should come on and go off, and then we start the truck. All right, then we'll take our seat belt, make sure it's not torn or frayed. It clicks in the spot here. It's attached to the wall up top and on the bottom. And we'll look at our mirrors and make sure that they're adjusted to me. Look at our windshield, make sure our windshield is mounted secure, it's not cracked or broken, and it's clean and free of illegal stickers. All right. Make sure our windshield wipers work. They're touching the windshield. The rubber's not torn or frayed. And we turn on our washer, make sure our washer fluid works. All right, then we're going to check our dashboard indicators. Our left turn signal works. Our right turn signal works. Our four ways work. And we turn our lights on. Our high beam works. The oil should be between 20 to 40, and it's working properly. The temperature is rising, should be between 170 and 210 degrees. The air pressure should be between 120 and 125. And your voltmeter is going to be in this digital display. It should be between 12 and 14. And this one is currently at 14 volts. Then we're going to turn this control here. I call this the cool man. It's for the feet and for the defroster. And we're going to turn on our defroster, and you feel up top, make sure the defroster works. And you feel at your feet to make sure the heater works at your feet. We're going to turn it off so we don't get hot up in here. And then we're going to check our horn. This is the electric horn, and that's the air horn. Now we're going to check our brakes. We're going to check the parking brakes for the trailer. And what we'll do there is we'll put it in first gear and push in the yellow knob, which you push it in to go. The yellow knob operates the truck, the red for the trailer. And you're going to slowly come off your clutch, and you shouldn't move. All right, so the trailer brakes work. Then we're going to set the parking brakes for the truck. We're going to push in the red knob, releasing the brakes on the trailer. So only the parking brakes for the truck should be working. We're going to slowly come off the clutch, and we shouldn't move. Now we're going to check that our service brakes work. We'll make sure they're both pushed in, and we're going to move forward approximately 5 miles an hour. And that's far enough, and I'm going to apply the brakes. And my brake pedal stops the vehicle, and it didn't pull to the right or to the left. I'm going to leave it in gear. I'm not going to touch these, and I'm going to turn the engine off. Because now we're going to do our 3-point air leak check. So the engine's off, and I turn the key back to the right to get power to the dash. And once the power cycles on the dash, which it did, I'm going to put my foot on the brake, and I'm going to push and hold it down, and I'm going to hold it for 1 minute. I should not lose more than 4 psi in a minute, and these are your air gauges. Now, you would ask your instructor or your examiner to time you for a minute. Now, let's say my minute is up. Step 2, we're going to check for the low air warning signal, which is a buzzer and a light that comes on your dash. So I'm going to fan the brakes, and when it gets down between 55 and 60 psi, which is 55 to 60 psi, there's your your brake air is low, and you hear the alarm. Whenever you're driving down the road and you hear that, you need to pull over as quickly as possible because you're losing too much air. Now we're going to check to make sure that our parking/emergency brakes work. We're going to continue fanning, and both these knobs are going to pop out. And they should pop out between 40 to 20 psi. Some trucks it goes lower. You see them both popped out. Now that is the end of the air brake test, and that is the end of our pre-trip.